Hi loves, in my last tutorial I shared with you how to draft out a bustier blouse with the Queen Anne neckline. If you haven't seen that particular tutorial, I'm going to be linking it in the description box, so you go check it out before coming over to this particular one, because this is the sewing part of the tutorial. Here I have my patterns on top the table already cut out on my fabric. For this particular tutorial, I'm going to be using a lace fabric. You all know how we prepare our lace fabric, so I made use of bridal satin for the underlay. I've laminated them together using my hemming gum, and here I'm trying to show you that I've added seam allowances all around my pattern. To the cup area I added half an inch, to the upper part I added half an inch, to the down part I added 1 inch, and for the side seam allowance I added 2 inches. Here is the front yoke. I added half an inch all around it, and then I also have my back pattern, the center back and the side back. Okay, here is also my yoke for the back, and I also have my center back, which is where I'm going to be inputting my lacing bar. So around this center back pattern I added half an inch, and then to the down part I added 1 inch. For the side back I added half an inch around it, to the down part I added 1 inch, and for the side seam I added 2 inches. I also added half an inch all around the back yoke. So guys, I've also cut out my lining piece. This is what I have on top the table right now. I've equally gone ahead to interface it with the paper gum, and for the lace and the bridal satin, which I laminated together, I interfaced it with the hairstay. This means that my hairstay goes into the lace fabric and the lining that I laminated together, and then the paper gum goes into the lining piece. Now I also went ahead to double pad my center front and the side front. You all understand what I mean by double padding. Right from the upper part to the under bust area, I added extra hairstay to the lace fabric, and then for the lining piece I added extra paper gum, as you can see. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and join these together, which is the center front and the side front for both the lace fabric and the lining piece. Now I'm going to ensure that the right sides are facing each other, and I will go and join it on my sewing machine using half an inch, as you can see me trying to show you. After doing that for the lace, I'm going to repeat the same thing for the lining piece. Okay, so we are going to go join it right now and then come back to continue. Now I'm going to equally show you the back piece. Here is my back piece for both the lining and the actual fabric. All right, now before joining this back piece, we are going to have to join our yoke. Here is my back yoke. I'm going to set it like this, and what I'm going to do is make sure that my lining is facing the lace fabric, right side facing each other, and I'm going to stitch up the neckline and the part I'm going to be having the button. Now to one side of this yoke, either left or the right, I'm going to input a strip which I'm going to be using for the button. Now after doing that, I will go ahead and equally do the same thing for the front yoke. Okay, now the front yoke, the only part I'm going to be stitching is just the center front of the yoke. I hope you understand, but if you don't understand, by the time I show you what I sew, you will understand it clearly. Now I am done joining my center front and the side fronts for both the lining and the lace fabric, and here it is on top the table. I've equally joined my yoke, the back and the front. So this is what I mean. You can see this is the only part that I stitched for now. Okay, the remaining parts are open. The shoulder, the down part, and the armhole area is open. Just the center is what I stitched with the lining using half an inch. And then for the back yoke, I went ahead to leave the armhole open. The shoulder is open. I turned the neckline and the center of it. All right, now the next thing I'm going to do is bring in my center front, which is the front piece. Okay, I'm going to bring it in and I'm going to notch the particular place which this yoke is going to enter, the front yoke, right? So when you're cutting it on your pattern, please do make sure that you notch the particular points so that you won't get yourself confused. So now I'm going to bring in my front yoke. I'm going to match it up with the notched area. I'll go ahead and pin it up just like this. I have done that for one part. I am repeating the same thing for this side. Now after this, I'm going to bring in the lining piece and then place it right side facing the lace fabric, and I'm going to pin it up. I'm going to ensure that that area for the lining and equally the middle area of the lining, which is the sweater neckline, is matching up with that of the lace. Everything should match up. Go ahead and pin it up carefully, and then after that I'll move over to my sewing machine and stitch the upper part using 1/2 inch. Okay, after that I'm going to like top stitch and then turn it out like this. So this is what the front part should look like. Now after this, we are going to repeat the same thing for the back. Here is my back piece. This is just the side piece of my back. So I'm going to bring in my yoke and equally match it up. Can you see? Please ensure that you notch all this while drafting out your pattern, and when you're cutting it on fabric, also place a notch so that you won't get yourself confused. I keep saying it. So I'm going to face the yoke to the side piece of the back, and I'm going to place the lining into it. Okay, you can see that the yoke is usually sandwiched in between the lining and the lace fabric. So after that, I'm going to go ahead and pin it up and then stitch up the upper parts using 1/2 inch. After stitching the upper part, I'm going to stitch up the side. Please also remember that for the front, I also stitch up the side, okay, using just 1/4 inch. You don't have to use much to stitch up the side, just to give it a good finishing. Okay, so I am done with the back, and this is what we have for the front. As you can see, I'm trying to show you what I have. Now if you want to place in a ready-made bra cup, it is time for you to tack it inside the cup. Okay, but for me, I did not make use of that. All right, now here is my back piece, and you can see that the center of the back is still open. Now for the center of the back, I'm going to sew in this lacing bar into it, and you can see I've created a boning channel. So the place you can see this colorful bias is where I'll be inserting my boning, plastic boning. That is what I'm going to be using to give it a little bit of structure right at the back. Now note that this particular outfit does not have boning on the men bodies, okay, because this is for an elderly person. If you want a boning, you can go ahead and add it up. Okay, I only added boning to the lacing area, which is the lacing bar, just to give it a structure, because I'm going to be looping the back. All right, I'm going to be lacing the back, sorry. So now I'm going to sew in the lacing bar into it. As you can see, I'm trying to do that right now, and after that I'm going to show you guys what we have. So however you know how to sew in your lacing bar into the back of your corsets or whatever it is that you're making, go ahead and sew it in just like that. Okay, so after that I went ahead to add up my plastic boning. Please, when adding up your plastic boning, ensure that you leave about 1 inch right at the down part so that you'll be able to turn the down. Okay, finish up the down parts. So I'm trying to add up my boning on the 2 boning channel I created. So I'm going to be inserting 4 bonings, okay, 2 for the right and then 2 for the left. I am done doing that. I've initially done the other one off camera, and I have just showed you guys how to do it with the other one. Okay, now after this, next I'm going to stitch up the side seam and the shoulder area. So here is how I usually join my shoulders together. I'm going to align the lining piece together and the actual fabric together, and I will stitch with 1/2 inch. After that, I'll measure my side seam allowance and join them together. Okay, I am done doing that. I've also added up my eyelet to the back, as you can see. Okay, and here is what we have. I'm trying to arrange it so that you guys can see. This is so neatly finished. Now after this, I'm going to go add up my sleeve to this. Okay, but before that, I'm going to turn the hemline using my bias. So here I'm going to first of all stitch up the bias on the upper part and then turn it inward. Now after this, I'm going to go ahead and mark out my waistline. As you can see, the under bust for this person is 14 inches and the waistline is 17 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark it out. After marking it out, I will go down by 3 inches extra, okay, because I want to give this a bask look. All right, so you guys already know this is going to be like an inbuilt bustier. Okay, you don't only sew inbuilt for a corset, you can also sew inbuilt for a bustier, okay, which you don't even have like boning channel inside. This particular dress does not have boning channel on the body, like I told you, because this is actually for an elderly person. This person is actually a grandma, but I just needed to give her that snatched look a little, even though she doesn't want it, but I just want this outfit fitted perfectly on her. I am done with marking out the bask shape. I have added my sleeve, and this is what the upper part looks like. Let's go ahead and work on the skirt parts. I have joined the side seam of my skirt and sewed in my zipper. Now I'm going to cut out the bask shape for the front part of the skirts. Now from the upper part of my skirts, I went ahead to go down by 3.5 inches. And I'm going to slantly connect it to the side seam of the waist. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my scissors and then cut out the bask shape. Now if you want to do that, you're going to ensure that you're holding the waist area so that this will not shift while you cut it. I am done cutting this out. Let me go ahead and zip it up so you guys can see. Now I'm going to move over to my sewing machine and stitch it into the bask shape that I created for the upper parts, and I'm going to do that using 1/2 inch. So I am done doing that, and this is what it looks like. So guys, this is exactly how to sew an inbuilt bustier blouse with the Queen Anne neckline. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you do, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't followed us at this stage, please hit on the subscribe button. Join our beautiful family for more tutorials like this. I will see you in my next one. Bye.